So we're asking if the ongoing scandal over his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and claims surrounding Virginia Giuffre have put you off the monarchy altogether. Get your calls in for this one now. It was announced this weekend that Prince Andrew would give up his titles after a string of accusations had cast a negative light on the royal family. But the problems for the monarchy have not gone away. Since then, it's also been reported that one of King Charles's senior aides could have had links to the claim that Andrew had asked one of his police officers to dig up dirt on Virginia Giuffre. And now questions are arising about how much the King knew of the allegations and whether the monarchy could have taken actions sooner. So has the whole thing put you off the royals? Suzy, I'll start with you.
I mean, look, 100%. I'm a bit of an interesting one because I kind of, growing up, I met the Queen, I met her husband twice. I actually also met Prince Andrew at a charity event. Side by side, I could see the value in the royal family, but I also think it's a little bit baffling that people are privileged by blood. I think it's a little bit random, but they're good for trade, so I'm happy to keep them in some ways for that. What has just gone on here? I mean, it is so shocking. It is so shocking. It's even hard to read. Do you know what I mean? Like the bits from the book. It's actually upsetting. It's so upsetting, and I just think. And these are supposed to be people that have, you know, a strong moral compass. We're supposed to look up to them. Anyway, in answer to your question, has it put me off the royals? Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people in this country that were probably indifferent that are now put off.
Well, I'd love to hear it from you at home as well. Carole, very quickly, what's your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are that I have more sympathy with the King than I've ever had before, because he's got a lot to deal with. The King is doing some incredible work at the moment, as are Wills and Kate, and everything they do is constantly undermined by the two black sheep in the family, both by Andrew and by Harry.
OK, well, don't go anywhere because we're taking your calls on this after the break. I want to hear your views. Has the whole Prince Andrew scandal, saga, put you off the monarchy? Before the break, we asked Japanese newly elected Prime Minister has been compared to which British leader? And the answer is Margaret Thatcher. I think she actually called herself the Iron Lady. She wanted to be the Iron Lady of Japan. Welcome back. We are live on 5 with Carole and Suzy, still here with me. Now, don't forget, later we are asking if fireworks should be banned in order to help protect pets. But now we are going to get straight into those calls on the monarchy. Has the Prince Andrew scandal put you off the royal family entirely? Are you sticking by them? 0207 862 2222. And we will go straight to those calls then and speak to Billy from South Ayrshire. Billy, what's your view on the royal family these days?
Morning, Storm. I'll always show respect to the royal family.
Why?
When Her Majesty the Queen passed away, I always prayed for the royal family. I'll always have respect for the royal family.
But Billy, why?
Except for Prince Andrew.
Except for Prince Andrew. OK, so Prince Andrew aside, you can put the two apart. Where is the respect for the royal family coming from?
The respect for the royal family is coming from my Christian faith, so I always have respect for His Majesty
as
the
head
King
of the church
and the other members of the royal family.
As the head of the church, though, Billy, and actually just a leader of religions, I suppose. Charles wanted it changed, I think, to something that encompassed all faiths. Do you think? Would you feel differently about that if you knew that King Charles had a little bit more information about his brother's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein than he had let on and could have taken action sooner? I mean, we don't know that, but that is the allegation. And would that make you feel different?
Well, FYI, I'm Roman Catholic, and in regards to your question, if the King had more information, it wouldn't really make any difference to me. But if he did have more information, it would mean he'd be able to turn round and say, right, no, I'm wanting nothing to do with you.
But the fact that he didn't do that, or allegedly didn't do that, does that make you feel any differently about King Charles?
It doesn't mean I'm not going to show respect for him because of this. I'll always have respect for his majesty.
No, either way, you're just you're a big fan of the royals, Billy. Thank you very much for your call. Beryl from Inverness, what's your view on this?
Well, I met Prince Andrew when he was up in Vanessa, worked in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so nice to all the patients. Half of you lot didn't realise what he did. And it was like Fergie. She made sure that the kids were learning to read in all the charities. Now, the money's dropped for them poor charity. And it's so sad. I mean, they maybe have done wrong. And I mean, if you were frightened, what would you do? You might have done the same as what she did.
Oh, hold on, we're talking about Sarah Ferguson. We're talking about Prince Andrew here. And what we know about Prince Andrew, because he's guilty of nothing officially. So what we do know is he went to stay with a convicted paedophile at his home. Are you comfortable with that, Beryl? Do you think that's acceptable? He was trying to do the honourable thing?
It shouldn't be acceptable, but did he know or not that he was like that?
Oh, God, Beryl, bless you, you're being very naive here. Of course he knew. He knew that Epstein had been convicted of sexual offences with underage girls. He knew that. He exchanged emails with them. He socialised with this guy. Fergie called Epstein her supreme friend. She even took money from him, so they knew exactly what he was about. But, can this come to your story? You were saying before, could Charles have done more? What literally could he have done, even if he'd known more about, even if he'd known that Andrew had been in touch with Epstein? What is he supposed to do? One, he's the king, and he's got a job to do as the king. He's not going to go and shop Andrew to the police, because at the end
why not though? Because he could have said to
that?
Andrew, it is your moral responsibility as a member of this royal family, if you know more information about what went on and what was happening.
About what went on.
No, but he does. But what we're saying is, if there is a suggestion that the relationship between Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein
went on for longer,
and King Charles knew about it.
So Charles should shop him to the police for that?
No. Well, I don't know, maybe.
No, he shouldn't.
But
the whole thing just doesn't smell right, does it? Do you know what I mean? It feels a little bit like, if you're a normal person and this happens, you pay the consequences.
What happens? What happens? Nothing has happened.
Because he's in the royal family.
He hasn't been convicted of anything.
Well, and I think that is concerning. I think it is concerning.
Well,
but the point...
It's not concerning, because they couldn't convict him.
It doesn't look right. Ultimately, the facts are people are going to view the royal family differently because of this.
No, they're not. Don't believe it. I don't believe that. I don't actually believe that for a second. Charles has not been involved with a paedophile. Neither has Wills, and neither has Kate. They haven't been involved.
But there's other things about them as well,
isn't
isn't there? Like them having land, which they're, we're paying for our ambulances to be on their land. People don't like that stuff. People are struggling.
There has been a lot of negative press.
I just really want to say this. So many people were struggling. Lots of people do have a love for the royal family, but there's a whole lot of people that are just like, wait a minute, they have land which they've inherited by blood, and then they're charging the NHS to put ambulances on that land. I mean, people don't like that kind of thing. People
Carole,
don't like
they have
that.
had bad press recently.
Yeah, they have. And this is where you asked me before if I thought differently about the royal family. I feel very sorry for Charles, because his mother worked very hard to keep the monarchy relevant in a country that increasingly has opinions like Suzy's about the royals, despite the fact they bring in billions every year with tourism and trade. Billions, not billions.
That's why I'd keep them.
Can I just finish? Can I finish a point?
Yes,
Thank you. So billions in trade and in tourism. And Charles, I feel sorry for Charles now, because he is doing sterling work in this country. This guy isn't bumming off the state. This guy works incredibly hard, as does Wills. And I feel sorry for him that this utterly selfish, self-absorbed, entitled man, his brother, is getting away with all of this. And I think what Suzy is completely right about is people look at him living in that 30-roomed Royal Lodge, him and Fergie, paying no rent, nothing for it. I mean, I know we were told he bought the lease years ago for £1 million. But, that lodge costs something with the staff and with the cost, £5 million a year to maintain. Where is that money coming from?
I think, do you know what people...
Where is it coming from?
Rather than feeling
That's what
sorry
we
for
ought to look
Charles,
at.
and I'm sure Carole does, but the big thing is we feel sorry for the victims. Do you know what I mean? it's hard to
Jeffrey
read.
Epstein's victims.
It is hard to read, what went on here, but also what he's been accused of, is hard to read. And I would say they haven't shown enough, compassion towards the victims.
the royals.
And they could have gone.
The royals.
They could have gone further.
The rest of the
I'm
royals.
saying
Beryl,
this
thank you
interview
very
was
much for your call.
8 years ago.
I'm just going to go back to the calls. Sean from Durham, what's your view?
Well, how are you doing? I tell you what it is. Anybody that pays £10 million to shut their mouth is as guilty as sin.
Well, that's your opinion, Sean.
He paid £10 million to shut his mouth.
12, Sean.
It was 12, yeah. It was a little bit more than that. I mean, his argument would be that his mother wasn't very well, that he had family members that weren't very well, and he didn't want to put them through that.
The poor lass has committed suicide through it.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
Well,
Sean,
did commit suicide.
Sean, thank you so much for pointing that out. And this is what is so important.
Hang on, can we just, there were lots of other complex factors
at the centre
here.
of this.
She'd been raped from the age of 9 by her father. So Virginia Giuffre's life was a very complicated life.
Yeah,
if you're going to publicly blame Prince Andrew on television for that, I would be careful.
No, I think that you hear Prince Andrew and it's just like, whenever his name's in the news over the last 10 years, whether it's Chinese spy this or whatever, the guy is obviously a wrong one,
yes,
number one.
Totally.
But I actually think we need to see a modernisation of the royal family. I would keep them, but I would strip them of loads of their assets. I would keep them, but I would.
What kind of state do you want to live in?
Right.
I mean, seriously.
What do you mean?
Well,
And
the royal family
possibly
itself
somewhere where we use some of
wants to
those assets to
modernise.
build a few hospitals and some schools. Put the royal fund to a royal foundation and do good things with it, rather than feeling sorry for old Charles.
Sean, thank you very much for your call. Thanks.